Manchester United have just been beaten 2-1 at home by Fulham in the Premier League. What a terrible result that was. Honestly, I want to say I'm lost for words, but I'm not lost for words. I have quite a lot to say, actually. So let's get straight on into it, guys. That was honestly one of the worst performances I've seen in, I don't know, as long as I can remember. It was absolutely terrible. Obviously, the last 5 minutes of the game was mildly entertaining just because we got that equaliser, which Maguire, scrappy goal, because there was some glimmer of us maybe going on and winning. Obviously, Iwobi then went and scored. But if I'm being completely honest, Fulham deserved to win that game. You know, let's not beat around the bush here. Fulham deserved to win that game. Even if we got a point, I think Fulham deserved to win that game. Like, they were the better side. They had maybe 2 or 3 clear-cut opportunities to score, which they didn't earlier on in the game. Our whole team was absolutely terrible. Rashford, disgrace. Literally losing the ball, not tracking back, absolute disgrace. He needs to go in the summer, I'm sorry. Like, and for people to say, oh, well, you're just saying this because we lost. Like, I've been saying this on this channel for weeks and somewhat even months. When we were winning 4 games in a row, I've said this to you guys for months and months and months. The only players in this squad that I would genuinely keep 100% is Martinez, Kobe Mainu, Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, and maybe Dallow's kind of just slipped his way in there based on the performances so far in 2024. But literally, if you go through the rest of the players that started today's game, every single one of them should go. I mean, Onana's not going to go anywhere, but Maguire, let's be honest, he should have left years ago. He can barely even run. The last goal was pretty much his fault, wasn't it? Eriksen is unable to tackle people, and then Maguire couldn't catch Adama Traore, which I guess, you know, Adama Traore is one of the fastest players in the world, but still, it was like light and day when you saw Maguire trying to catch up with Traore. You go through the rest of the team. Casemiro looks like a shadow of what the player he was at Real Madrid. Went off injured, even though the Fulham player stayed on the pitch. They both had a head injury. Casemiro went off. Strange. Bruno Fernandes has been absolutely appalling for as long as I can remember. Every time he gets the ball, he tries to do the Hollywood pass. Those types of passes probably come off maybe once in 100 times. And every single time he gets the ball, he does it. Before he even has the ball, he's already kicked it to somebody. Like, it's so frustrating to watch. And you know what, guys? Like, my blame is not on Erik ten Hag here at all. And the only thing that I want, okay? The only thing that I want that Jim Ratcliffe needs to do, Sir Dave Brailsford, Omar Barada, the thing that will really, really verge my opinion on whether they're going to be good owners or not is what they do now. I don't mean immediately in this game, but my preference here, and this is what has to happen. Anybody who says sack the manager, get Erik ten Hag out, I'm going to explain to you why you're wrong, okay? I'm going to explain to you right now. Should Erik ten Hag be here for the next 5 years, 2 years? I don't know. I'd probably not, being honest, okay? But you have to really, really listen to this, all right? And you have to really try and understand what I'm saying here. If we were to sack Erik ten Hag before the summer, every single one of these players will get a second chance. Obviously, bar the people whose contract's expiring, but all of them, Maguire, Varane, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, McTominay, a new manager will come in, they'll say, I want to assess my squad, and they'll keep them. If we keep Erik ten Hag for at least this summer, I'm very, very confident that we will see the biggest clear out that we've ever seen at Manchester United. I honestly believe that. Whereas I think if a new manager comes in, it will be like just what it was like 2 years ago. Erik ten Hag came in. He had a good meeting with the Glazers and John Murtough and Richard Arnold. He told them that he'd get more out of Marcus Rashford. He told them that he'd work with the players he had. And then all of those players got a second chance. And we can't let that happen again. We just simply cannot. Honestly, we need to probably get rid of 80% of our players. Now, I know people will say that's unrealistic, and I know 80% is a ridiculous number. But if you go through the team from the beginning, right? Maguire needs to go. Lindelof needs to go. Johnny Evans' contract will be up. Luke Shaw's injury prone should probably go. Malacia has disappeared. I mean, he's pretty much gone, isn't he? Wan-Bissaka will go. Casemiro needs to go. I think he's past his best. He literally can barely run anymore. Doesn't look like the player he was at Real Madrid whatsoever. Sofian Amrabat was a waste of money, and he's going to go back to Fiorentina. McTominay, only as good for the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game. I would sell him. Eriksen, literally, even when he came on today for half a game, he can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. Christian Eriksen is not good enough anymore. Kobe Mainu you keep. Bruno Fernandes doesn't suit Erik ten Hag's style of play. He doesn't suit a possession-based style of play. He would not get in the Liverpool side. He wouldn't get in the Arsenal side. He probably wouldn't get in the Newcastle side. Every single time Bruno Fernandes gets the ball, he tries to play some pass that literally will only come off 1 in 100 times. Bruno Fernandes, for me, doesn't suit this Manchester United team. He shouldn't be the captain, and he needs to go, in my opinion. I think, he's going to be 30 in a couple of months. You either sell him now and cash in, and he'll just run down his contract and we'll get nothing. So for me personally, I would get rid of him. We've got Mason Mount that we just spent 55 million on. He plays in the same position. He's 5 years younger. We know that Mason Mount is more of a possession-based player. Give Mason Mount a try. Why not? It can't be any worse than Bruno Fernandes. The only thing that Bruno Fernandes does, which is good at the moment, is he runs. And that's it, effectively. Nothing else about his game is good at all at the moment. Nothing. Rashford is literally dead to me, to be honest. Being completely honest. I'm not being dramatic. I felt like this for a long time. Like, I understand it if, you have some games good, some games bad. But to not even bother to track back. He did that maybe 3 or 4 times this game. He lost the ball and then would just walk and wouldn't even try and get the ball back. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It's absolute disgrace. You know what, guys? I'm absolutely fuming about this. I really, really am. It's honestly an absolute disgrace. All of the excitement has been completely sucked out of watching Manchester United. I felt like this for a while. It was like this last season. It's been like this all season. And for all the people saying, get rid of Eric Ten Hag, blah, blah, blah. When was the last time we had a style of play? We haven't had a style of play since Sir Alex Ferguson. We haven't had a style of play for 10 plus years. And people are coming on here saying, it's Eric Ten Hag's fault. It's Eric Ten Hag's fault that he's got a defence of Lindelof, Maguire and Varane, who, let's be honest, is probably past it. Look through the players that started the match today. Just go and have a look, How many of those players are Eric Ten Hag signings? Probably 2 or 3. Half of them have been here for the last 10 plus, not 10 years, that's an exaggeration. Half of them have been here from Mourinho or from Oli or, you know what I mean? Like, these players have been here for a long time. They're not Eric Ten Hag signings. Like, honestly, it's made me so frustrated watching this game today. It really, really has. Like, I'm not surprised though. Like, I'm honestly not surprised. I'm not in living in this bubble where I think we've got a world-class team and it's a disgrace that we lost to Fulham. Like, the team that we had playing today, losing to Fulham, I don't think is even that surprising. Look at our defence. You had Victor Lindelof at left-back. He's not even good enough to be a centre-back for Man United, let alone a left-back. You've got Harry Maguire, who should have been sold to West Ham in the summer. Varane, I think Varane's a good player. I'll stand by that. Dallow's a good player. Kind of. I think, I probably would prefer someone like Frimpong, but I still think Dallow's been good this season. Casemiro's past his best. Kobe Mainoo, for an 18-year-old, is doing unbelievable things, but he shouldn't have that much responsibility on him. He's got everybody's on him to be performing every single game. He's 18. Like, he's our best midfielder. Kobe Mainoo's better than Bruno Fernandes, without a shadow of a doubt. Without even a glimmer of... I know Bruno Fernandes has been getting assists and stuff and all the rest of it and, plays for Portugal and... But what Manchester United need at the moment, composure, the ability to retain the ball, the ability to defend, and all of these things. Kobe Mainoo is better for Manchester United than Bruno Fernandes, 100%. Garnacho is in the same camp as Kobe Mainoo. Like, people forget that Garnacho is only 18 or 19 years of age. He shouldn't have all of this responsibility on him. I know people will say, if they're good enough, it doesn't matter what age they are. But still, like, Garnacho gets a bit of a free pass for me. And today, he was one of the only attacking players, if not the only attacking player, who actually looked like he would create something. Rashford, absolute disgrace. I'm sorry. Like, Rashford needs to go. Get rid of him. I honestly would get rid of Rashford in a heartbeat, without a shadow of a doubt. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. I mean, there's people saying Ten Hag out. Somebody's saying Mason Mount will replace Bruno. Yeah. Cesar says, Kieran, point taken with your theory as to why you'd keep the manager, but both things can be true. Crap players and a manager who doesn't have the acumen to inspire them to put in a shift. So out he goes. Mate, the thing is, though, you just have to really, really listen to what I said, okay? And this isn't me just making this up, or this isn't an opinion, or it's not a speculation. This has happened time and time again at Manchester United. If we were to sack Eric Ten Hag before the summer, a new coach will come in, they'll all go off on pre-season tour, Rashford, Bruno, Lindelof, Varane, Casemiro, McTominay, Maguire, all of these players will go off on the pre-season tour. They'll all get a second chance, and then they'll all start the season. I promise you, that will happen because there'll be a new manager. Jim Ratcliffe and the rest of the people will say, it's cheaper for us to keep these players and try and get the new manager to work something out of them. And the same thing has happened over the last 10 years, and it never works. I'm sorry. No coach in world football, if any of you genuinely believe that starting 11, playing the way they do and have done for the last 5 to 10 years, if you genuinely think any manager in world football could win titles in Champions Leagues with that team, then I don't know what games you've been watching. Like, it's not possible. I'm sorry. Even Pep Guardiola wouldn't do it. Pep Guardiola would come in and get rid of 50% of those players within a heartbeat. I mean, even look at our bench. Like, it shows how bare we are. You've got Johnny Evans, you've got Amrabat, Bayindir, Anthony, you've got Diallo, who played for 10 minutes today, which was McTominay, Christian Eriksen. Like, honestly, like, do you honestly think that this is the manager's fault? Really? Ugh. The Nard Dog says, embarrassed for my team. Somebody says, you said 80% and named 13 players to go. Mate, if you want to do this, we can honestly do it. I think it's a boring narrative, okay? Let's go through the team then, shall we? We'll count how many people to go. Onana, I mean, I would get rid of Onana, but you're not going to be able to do that. Let's look at the outfield players because the goalkeepers are irrelevant. So Martinez, I think, stays. Varane goes, Maguire goes, Lindelof goes, Johnny Evans goes. Willy Kambwala doesn't really count. He's a youth player. Luke Shaw, I think he's injury prone. If we could get rid of him, I would. Malacia is gone. Diogo Dalot, I would keep. Wan-Bissaka go. Casemiro go. Sofian Amrabat go. McTominay go. Eriksen go. Kobe Mainoo I'd keep. Bruno Fernandes I'd sell in a heartbeat at this point. Mason Mount I would keep because you won't be able to sell him now. Marcus Rashford go 100%. Garnacho keep. Anthony I would get rid of, but you probably won't be able to. Amad Diallo, I mean, I'd probably sell Amad Diallo as well, to be honest. Like, if he's not going to play, Rasmus Højlund I'd keep. Obviously, Martial's going. So, literally out of a squad of, 30 players, I would honestly only keep about 4 or 5 at the moment. I don't know what the percentage is of that. I mean, what's that? About 15% of the players I'd keep, 85% I'd get rid of. I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. I really, really don't. I mean, we play Man City next. I would say that top 4 is gone now. I would say top 4 is gone, being completely honest. And that's not me being dramatic. It was already a stretch. Aston Villa have just won today. We are now, I believe, 8 points behind Aston Villa. We play Man City next weekend. I think, I might be mistaken, but I think Aston Villa play Tottenham next weekend. So, no, they don't. They play Nottingham Forest at home. I mean, oh no, that was today, sorry. Aston Villa play Luton next week. Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine them to win that. I think we have to aim for Europa now, which is 6th place. I think we can still do that. We're 6 points ahead of Brighton. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Based on where we were like a couple of months ago, I wouldn't be happy with Europa, but I would take it at this point. If someone said you can end the season right now with Europa League football, and then you sell most of these players in the summer, I would take that in a heartbeat. Because for me, I don't think being in the Champions League is the be-all, end-all for us, being honest. I don't, because people will say, because we need the money, we need the money. We have a squad of effectively 80% of them deadwood. Some of them are worth money, though. Marcus Rashford's worth money. Bruno's worth money. Maguire's worth money. McTominay's worth money. Like, we could raise 200, 300, 400 million worth of player sales easily this summer. Casemiro, you'd probably get 40 million. Varane, you'd probably get 30 million. Like, you could easily get rid of 10 players minimum and probably get 300 million. So people saying, if we don't get Champions League, we won't be able to do anything. In some ways, it might actually be a blessing. Now, hear me out on this. Because people like Rashford, people like Bruno, people like Casemiro, people like Varane, are they really going to want to stay at Man United if we don't get Champions League football? Probably not. I mean, Casemiro and Varane, I think, will go. But some of the others, I think, are they really going to want to stay if there's no Champions League football? Especially people like Bruno. He's going to be 30 this year. He's won, the League Cup at Man United, and that's it. Like, I don't know. I just think if an offer came in for him, I think he would probably consider it. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Groovemaster says, I don't know why he played Forson ahead of Ahmad, just so Forson would sign a contract. It's a joke. If Greenwood belongs in prison, so does Ten Hag. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go and do something else. I'm going to try and switch my head off from football. I hope everyone has a good rest of your Saturday. I know it always ruins everyone's weekend when United do this to us, but there's not much we can do about it. Have a good evening, everybody. I'll speak to you all on Monday. There won't be any videos tomorrow. I usually have Sunday as a day off, but have a good evening, everyone. Please don't forget to like the video before you leave. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all later.